Hi, my name is Jane Powell. Welcome to Community Connections. This is a show about community involvement brought to you by the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation. Today my guest is Erica Manning. Welcome, Erica.
Thank you.
You are the Regional Chief Executive Officer of American Red Cross.
That's correct.
That's quite a title.
Well, thank you very much.
But you've got quite a job because you cover a large region and you do a lot of services. So I'm so anxious to talk about that today.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. Tell me a little bit about the Red Cross in West Virginia.
Sure. The American Red Cross was founded more than 130 years ago, and it has been active in West Virginia for just over 100 years, and we've been celebrating our centennial in West Virginia. We are a volunteer-based organization, and we actually have 4 chapters in West Virginia. So the American Red Cross West Virginia region is the full state with 4 chapters. And we have about a 27-person strong staff, but a lot of the work that is done through the Red Cross is really done by an amazing group of volunteers.
Yes, and so I just have to say, when I think about the Red Cross, I think about a blood drive, but it's so much more than that. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that and about the other services you have. One thing I think that's going to surprise people is your response to fires.
Absolutely. You know, it is such a wonderful opportunity when people say, oh yeah, I know the American Red Cross. Everybody knows that name. And they often, as you said, think about a blood drive. And that is certainly, you know, a major part of what the American Red Cross does. But in addition to that, you know, we have a total of 5 lines of service at the American Red Cross. So in addition to blood, we are out there responding to disasters and helping people prepare for disaster response. We're working with international services. We are helping the armed forces with various services. And we're also doing health and safety related classes, you know, teaching things like CPR and first aid.
So it's such a broad array of services that you offer, and I know you're helping so many people, but can you give us some examples of places that the Red Cross has been recently that you've made a difference in people's lives?
Absolutely. I can really talk to, you know, the disaster service responses that we've been doing lately. As everybody is, you know, very aware, in the most recent past, we have been working down in Fayette County when the train derailment occurred. Many people were, you know, without water. And some folks, you know, were unable to be in their homes, especially in the first, you know, 24 hours or so after the event. So the Red Cross was there and opened up and worked with community partners to run 2 shelters so that those who couldn't be in their homes had a safe, warm place to stay, food to eat, and support emotionally, you know, when they're put out of their homes like that.
Because it was one of those just extremely cold nights.
Extremely cold. And you know, we're so often called upon during that kind of weather, because you know, when it's that kind of weather, even if there isn't something like a train derailment that occurs, there are often times that power outages occur because of that extreme cold weather and, you know, heavy snow, things like that. Certainly Hurricane Sandy comes to mind that affected us in West Virginia, and the Red Cross, you know, was very active after that as well, making sure that shelters were open and that people who didn't have warm homes with power had somewhere to go.
Well, I have to say, I would not have thought of the Red Cross in a power outage. So you really are everywhere.
Yes, yes, the Red Cross is, you know, just anytime people need help from, you know, the elements or from any disaster that leaves them without their basic, you know, comforts and needs, the Red Cross wants to be able to step in and help in all of our communities across the state.
So before the disaster happens, does the Red Cross have workshops or kits or something that they can teach or prepare? Is there that service?
Absolutely. The Red Cross, even when a disaster is not occurring, is constantly preparing. Not only preparing ourselves and our volunteers, but also trying to make sure that our communities across the state are resilient and able to respond, to the extent they can themselves to disasters. So, we do things like go into the schools and do what we call the Pillowcase Project. This is such an interesting thing. It targets 3rd to 5th grade kids. And we have reached out to several thousand kids throughout the state over the past year. And we have volunteers who go out and teach kids about the types of events that might occur, whether that's a home fire or a flood, the things that they may need to be prepared for. And the reason it's called a Pillowcase Project is because it's not only a instructional course where we go out and tell them how to handle a disaster and how to respond, but they also get to color a pillowcase and decorate it with whatever they want. So it's very interactive that way. And it's interesting because in this day and age, with computers and electronics, you really wonder, are these kids gonna really take to what we're doing with this Pillowcase Project? And it's amazing how much they really do respond to it, and they want to answer the questions and they want to color the pillowcases. They often put a Red Cross on the pillowcase. It's really
that's great.
neat. Yes.
Yeah, doesn't everybody love to color just a little bit?
Exactly.
I don't think we ever outgrow that.
True.
But that's fun because that makes it less scary to them, and you can get them the information in a very creative way.
Absolutely, and then it trickles out to the rest of their family as well, because we're hearing from the parents at these schools who say, after you all came in and did this project, our kids came home and they wanted to do a fire escape plan. And they're talking to their parents, and so now the whole family becomes prepared for disasters.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. I love that the kids are teaching their parents and their siblings. That's great. So to make all this happen, you need your staff, but you need an army of volunteers.
That is for sure, and and it's amazing. We do have, to cover the whole state, to have about 27 employees, that is never going to be enough to do everything that needs to be done. And we do have close to 1,000 volunteers identified, and those aren't, necessarily people who are always available. So while we have that number of 1,000, I'm always cautious to say, don't let that make you think that we've got enough people. We always need more volunteers.
Oh, right, because they could be on vacation or have something in their lives that requires their attention that they wouldn't be able to give you the time.
Exactly. So we're always, letting people know that ordinary people can do extraordinary things through the Red Cross, and we really want to invite people to, give us a call, and they can do that, at 304-340-3650.
Okay, I think we've got that number on the screen, and there is your website, another way to contact you, and there's social media as well.
Absolutely, and you can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter, and it's amazing. We're constantly posting because there's always an event that we're responding to in the disaster arena, because even if there isn't a flood or a train derailment or a water crisis, there are the everyday home fires that so many people don't realize the Red Cross responds to. And every day we have what we call disaster action teams made up of volunteers who go out in the middle of the night most often to go respond and make sure that when people are out standing on the curb, watching everything that they have, being destroyed by a fire, that they have people that they can lean on, and that our Red Cross volunteers can make sure that they have a place to stay that night, and that they have a way to get food. And so often they're running out of their homes without even the shoes on their feet.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough time just to get you know,
Save
you and your
yourself
family.
and your children, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's pretty common to see a family standing out on the curb without their shoes on, and boy, does that hit home when it is this cold outside. And I'll tell you, the people who help, the Red Cross volunteers, they're the kind of people, one of them, I remember, took her gloves off and said, ma'am, if you can't come into the vehicle, because she was in shock, she didn't want to, you know, walk away from her home,
Right.
please at least stand on my gloves so your feet aren't frozen.
Wow.
Yeah, it's heartwarming.
It is.
Yeah, it's amazing the type of people who are, you know, really in abundance in our state, willing to come out and help people.
Oh, you're so very lucky. But I know that you have great people, but you need more people. And I'm guessing that you're always looking for donations and funding sources as well.
Absolutely. You know, we are always telling people that we're not a government funded agency. You know, we are a humanitarian services organization that runs solely off the generosity of donations. And those donations can come from individuals, or they can come from corporations or foundations. And, you know, certainly the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation has been one of those foundations that makes sure that we can do the kind of work that is needed every day.
Yeah, we're so glad that we can be there.
Thank you.
Yes. And so I know that should somebody want to volunteer or donate or have a way that they can help you, again, the website, the phone number are always ways they can get in touch with you.
Yes, absolutely, and we would welcome that.
So are there upcoming events with the Red Cross? I know you're working on the pillowcase project.
Yes.
So what else is happening? Tell us some good things, that not a fire and not a train
Sure.
derailment.
Absolutely. You know, I think you know, preparedness, we touched on the pillowcase project.
Right.
There's another big preparedness project that's going on in West Virginia and throughout the country with the American Red Cross. We're very active here in the state right now in